Hello. Hi. I'm Noah. I am Elias's cousin. Now, Elias also has a brother named Noah, but I'm not him. I'm his cousin Noah. I know it's kind of confusing. You guys sent Flat Stanley to me and my wife at our house here in Los Angeles, California. Thank you so much for doing that. We were so happy to get him and have the chance to show him around the city that we live in. Now, actually, I'm from Massachusetts, like you guys. I grew up in Pelham and in Amherst, so not very far away from you folks in Belchertown. But I live out here in Los Angeles now with my wife and our two cats and our dog. And actually, our family is about to get bigger because this summer we're going to be having twins. That's right, two babies. That's a lot, right, Stanley? Anyway, you don't want to hear about me. You want to hear about Stanley's adventures in Los Angeles. So Los Angeles is the largest city in the state of California and the second largest city in the whole country. It was founded by Spanish explorers in 1781 and was part of Mexico for many years and became part of the United States in 1846. Here's Stanley flapping in the wind along with the U.S. flag and the flags of the state of California. The city's full name is El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora la Reina de los Ángeles del Río de Porciuncula. That means the village of Our Lady, the Queen of Angels of the river of Porciuncula. That's a really long name, so we just call it Los Angeles for short. Or for even shorter, just LA. The first place we took Stanley was an area in downtown Los Angeles called Olvera Street. This is the oldest part of Los Angeles. This was where the Spanish settled the city, and this was the heart of Mexican Los Angeles. It's still a great place to observe some Mexican culture right here in the United States. That means more than just piñatas. But they have piñatas too. And as Stanley learned, Los Angeles and Mexico City are actually sister cities. But of course, people who live in Los Angeles come from all over the world. On an average day in LA, you'll hear people speaking English, Spanish, Chinese, Tagalog, Armenian, and a number of other languages. This right here is the entrance to Chinatown, and that's right next to Olvera Street. We were going to Olvera Street for a big event called the Blessing of the Animals. This is an annual event that happens every year the day before Easter, where people bring their pets to Olvera Street and they get them blessed by the Cardinal of Los Angeles. We came with our dog Lois. Oh yeah, I used to have a beard back then. And a lot of people bring their dogs, and sometimes they even dress them up in costumes, but people also bring other pets like turtles, or lizards, or rats, or snakes. But whatever you bring, you stand in line and you parade right in front of the Cardinal, and he will throw holy water on you and bless your pets for the next year. And here's Lois getting blessed right there. By the way, I said it was the day before Easter, and as you can see on Olvera Street, the Easter Bunny rides in on a donkey. The next day, we took Stanley to The Grove, which is a very popular outdoor shopping mall in Los Angeles. And there he learned that real Mexican tacos are a little bit different from the ones you get at Taco Bell. Then the next weekend we celebrated Los Angeles by, leaving it. We were flying back to the East Coast for a baby shower in York, Pennsylvania. That's where Amanda, my wife, grew up. We didn't have much time to show Stanley the sights in York, but he did get to see the airport in Denver, Colorado, and one in Baltimore, Maryland, which is also close to Washington, D.C. But then we flew back to LA. Amanda works at the University of Southern California, which most people call USC. It's famous for a lot of things, but especially football. The USC football team is really good. They play in a stadium called the Coliseum, which also hosted the Olympic Games in 1932 and 1984. It's the only stadium in the world to host two Olympic Games. It also used to be the home of the Los Angeles Raiders NFL football team, but they moved to another city. Now Los Angeles, the second biggest city in the country, doesn't have its own professional football team. But of course USC fans think we don't need one because USC is so good. The USC football team is called the Trojans because the warriors of the ancient city of Troy were really tough. This is Stanley with a statue of the USC mascot, Tommy Trojan. And yeah, I guess that's it. I think those are really the only things that Los Angeles is famous for. What? Stanley, what's that? Oh, right! Hollywood! Los Angeles is home to Hollywood, where most American movies and TV shows are made. Actually, Hollywood is just the name of one neighborhood inside the city of Los Angeles, but the name Hollywood has also come to mean show business. We took Stanley for a walk down Hollywood Boulevard, which is full of lots of fun stuff related to the movies. They have wax museums where they recreate scenes from classic movies. Giant outdoor shopping malls that look like movie sets. Museums full of wax replicas of famous movie stars. Open-air bus tours that will show you where famous people live. And Hollywood Boulevard is full of actors dressed up as familiar characters to pose for photos with visitors. The day we were there, we saw Davy Jones, SpongeBob, Bumblebee, Wolverine, Superman and Supergirl, and Mario and Luigi. We saw these characters too, but those costumes aren't as good as the ones they have at Disneyland. Disneyland, by the way, is very close to Los Angeles, and Amanda and I used to go all the time, but now that she's expecting 2 babies, she's not allowed to go on the really fun rides, so we didn't make a trip out there this time. Sorry, Stanley. Maybe for your next visit. As you walk down Hollywood Boulevard, you'll see that the street is covered in stars. This is called the Walk of Fame. When somebody gets really famous in Hollywood, they'll give them a star on the street with their name on it. Eli told us that his favorite movie star was Jackie Chan, so we made sure to get a picture of Stanley next to Jackie Chan's star. But as cool as it is to get a star on the Walk of Fame, there's one honor in Hollywood that is even bigger, because only the biggest of the biggest stars get to leave their footprints and handprints in cement outside the Chinese theater. So, we had Stanley pose with Will Smith and the cast of Harry Potter. Now, that's the part of Hollywood Boulevard that everybody goes to see. But there's another part a little bit further away that not as many people know about. That's right, this right here is Muppet Studios, where they make the Muppets. Now, you might be wondering, why is Kermit the Frog dressed like that? Well, it's because this building actually used to be Charlie Chaplin Studios. Charlie Chaplin was a famous silent movie actor. You probably have seen him even if you don't know the name. So Kermit is dressed like Charlie. And that is how Flat Stanley went to Hollywood. But here's a little secret for you. Now, Hollywood has the reputation for being the place where movies get made. But actually, most of the movie studios, and they're the people who really make the movies, are based in other parts of Los Angeles. And in fact, some of them are very close to where I live in the San Fernando Valley. So, after we went to Hollywood and we saw all the sort of touristy stuff about Hollywood, I took Stanley for a visit to some of the movie studios where they really make the movies. One of the biggest studios in the movie business is Warner Brothers. Their studio is actually very close to my house, and this water tower is an important symbol of the studio. I couldn't get very close to get a really good picture of Stanley with this tower, so this is as good as I could get. Warner Brothers has been making the Bugs Bunny cartoons for about 70 years now, so there's a statue of Bugs right outside one of their buildings. And of course, where Bugs Bunny is, Daffy Duck isn't far away. Warner Brothers makes a lot of cartoons. Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, and all the DC Comics superheroes. Warner Brothers makes movies and TV shows with real actors in it, too, not just cartoons. I just think the cartoons are more fun to talk about. But when it comes to making cartoons, nobody in LA is more famous than Walt Disney. I took Stanley to see the Walt Disney Studios, which is just a few miles down the road from the Warner Brothers Studios. You can see the animation studios from a long ways away because they have this big sorcerer's hat outside. It's based on the hat that Mickey Mouse wore in The Sorcerer's Apprentice. The Disney company loves to put Mickey Mouse's head on everything, even on the fence outside their building. Just a little ways down the street from my house is the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences. They give out the Emmy Awards every year for the best television of the year. Here's Stanley posing with a giant version of the Emmy Award statue. Outside their building, they have a lot of statues honoring television legends. Can you find Stanley hiding in this picture of Jim Henson and some of his Muppet creations? And of course, a visit to Los Angeles wouldn't be complete without a trip to the beach. It was a little too cold to go in the water the day we went to the beach, but there were still a few brave people surfing, Not that bad weather ever stops a really dedicated surfer. Or this one guy who was surfing with the help of a parachute. And that is what Flat Stanley did on his visit to Los Angeles. I think he had a good time. Thanks very much for sending him, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.